My Gavan and Melanine, and well met indeed. I am Attica Galadurthan, and welcome back to Middle-earth as we continue on... No, we don't. As we start with Bree. This is one of two final campaigns, if you haven't been watching along on the channel. The Bree campaign, and there will be a Dol Amroth campaign tomorrow. And each of those are going to be the last two campaigns on YouTube. And then I'm going to stop. But let me just very briefly answer some frequently asked questions about this that I've seen crop up a lot in all of the on the videos I've discussed this so far. Number one, the Discord will continue. So if you want to come and play games with me and carry on chatting and whatnot, the Discord is linked in the description down below. You can join, you can come and play games. The Discord will carry on for like forever. I don't know. That's not going to stop. Secondly, these two campaigns, plus the Humankind campaign that's currently already ongoing, will be the only other videos I do. I might do a developer diary toward the end if version 5 hasn't already released, but I'm not going to cover version 5 any more than these two campaigns. There will be no more lore videos, no more top 10 videos, no more faction overviews, nor will there be a how do you install version 5 video. None of it. That is going to all be for someone else to pick up if they want to. I'm going to play these two campaigns and I am going to stop. There will also not be any intros for these campaigns because the very reason why I'm stopping YouTube is I just do not have time for it any longer. So I'm going out on these two campaigns I want to go out on, but I can't make them fancier. I mean, I can, but then I forego any other semblance of a life. And I'm just not about that, hence why I'm stopping YouTube. So those are your questions. If you do have other questions, please do post them down below and I will get to them. But let's dive in then. So first of all, as ever, please read this message when you load up version 5 whenever you get your hands on it. It tells you a few bits and bobs about how the mod plays. It's important to read because otherwise you'll have a lot of questions. You can then have a little read of the intro if you would like, by pausing in the right places. We're playing as Bree and Dol Amroth because Bree and Dol Amroth are my two favourite factions. Rumours grow. My lord, we have begun to hear rumours of a great shadow growing all about us. Its source is far away to the east, but people speak of an old enemy, come back to cover the lands in his darkness. No sexual pun intended. I do not know if there is stock to such rumours, but the Dunedain are seeming to form up into a more coherent force of late, and I've heard tale of war in the far north. It would seem that we may not be able to ignore the world around us for too much longer. I will speak with the council, send out riders, and find out what I can. So, we are playing as Bree. This is not Shattered Alliances, so we're allied to the Dunedain, we're allied to the High Elves, and we're at war with Dunland and Angmar. The usual play of Bree in the past is to beeline... Let's just toggle Fog of War and show you. The usual play was to beeline for Tharbad. Dunland are going to get it in the turn 1 auto-expansion, but you would push down straight for it, you'd take it as quickly as you could, and that would shut Dunland out. Dunland would then not be a force, you could then mop up more rebel regions in the back lands behind you, which is always very nice, and you could then focus on either Enedwaith or Angmar. However, the Dunedain now get Matraith at the start of the game, so if you do beeline for Tharbad, you've got to go through Dunedain lands, and you won't have a fallback position because you don't own Matraith. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. You also have a few oddities dotted about in your land. So obviously you've got Mitchell, Delving, Hobbiton, Longbottom and Bree. But Hobbiton has 2 units of Dwarven Travellers, which are not free upkeep. The Green Dragon doesn't seem to give them free upkeep. So you want to get both of them out. And when I say 2, it's because Bilbo Baggins, who is a fantastic governor, by the way, starts with Dwarven Travellers. And he costs you 290 gold coins, but he makes just over 300 gold coins, I believe. My lord. 464, 40 to 500, 240, and then 260. Actually, so he almost makes you money. But if you move the Dwarven Travellers out, then it covers itself. But what we'll start with here is a meeting hall. And you can now upgrade the Shire, by the way. All restrictions were removed from Bree a long time ago. I'm fairly certain, anyway, I don't think any of them are locked anymore. Oh, no, there you go. Mitchell Delving. No, it is still locked. Well, no, I don't know if that's accurate, actually. Text is always the last thing to be updated nowadays. I don't know. I don't know is the answer. Mitchell Delving, we will go with a meeting hall as well, because it makes the Watch Sheriffs then have free upkeep. Similarly here, we'll go with a meeting hall that gives us 300 extra gold coins, because they cost 155 each. And in Bree, we'll start with a Mason's Hall. In Bree, rather interestingly, Barleyman is actually a pretty awful governor. He only makes about 100 gold coins. Yes. And we're going to get an adoption offer on turn 1 because well, full disclosure, this is the second time I've started this campaign. I've played 30 minutes of this campaign already, and Barleyman, Alf, and Brathor all died. And I just thought, no, that's rubbish. That's awful. Come on, Galu. You can't kill all of your custom generals that quickly. So I started again for your viewing pleasure. So save scummed in essence, but it was absolutely outrageous. Barleyman died, and Brathor... Alf I didn't really care about. This is Alf. He died. I wasn't really bothered about that. Alf has Banderbrass archers as a bodyguard. It's not the end of the world. But Barleyman dying, I was so annoyed at. Because he had no right to die. I didn't do anything wrong, and he died. It was so annoying. We can also do with a diplomat and spy while we've got the money. We're going to go for Mengeland just because it's the only place that we can take, really. And the sooner we take it, the faster it will grow, the quicker we can get the end of the Barrow-wight attacks upon us. What about the droid attack on the Wookiee? And we're also, while we've got money, we are going to send these folks. You're going to need to go down to low tax rate, or Hobbiton hates me, which is quite laughable.
Yes, my lord.
Oh, come off it! 3 bloody bandits.
Rally to me, men.
There's bandits all over the Shire for some reason.
Orders, my lord.
I don't know who thought that was a good bloody idea. In terms of the mod, as of the start of this, compared to the start of Dunland, very little has actually gone into the mod. The major changes are the Northern Dunedain now have their unique UI, which is entirely possible under the way the mod works, because the Northern Dunedain have their own culture. So they now have their own UI, which is the thing you can see at the bottom of the screen there. They have their own version of that. It also means that they can have their own buildings, entirely their own buildings, so someone might create new buildings for them, but I shouldn't have thought so. They'll probably stick with the Ranger-themed early tier ones and then Arnorian-themed late game ones. Now, there we are. Terry's joined us in Bree, and...
Yes, my lord.
He is as good as Barleyman, plus he's free upkeep, so that's a bonus to our financial woes. What else was I saying there?
Orders, my lord.
Yes, so the UI for the Northern Dunedain has changed, and there's been a number of unique animations have come in. So some Javelin units have got new animations, which is quite interesting, and some ponies have been added as well, which I also thought was quite an interesting one. So those are the changes there. I think what we're going to try and do is go down here and take Cor Willishar. Under towers, we've got ages to take under towers. The elves never bother with something like that. So I'm going to just keep building towers up in the north here. Paladin will build that one and then head down. Alf will go down there. And Brathor, why don't you go with Alf?
My lord.
Oh, no, let's take those in first of all. We're going to get our free upkeep shortly. We need to mop up all of these bandits. Of course, we're going to bank on that the Northern Dunedain can keep Angmar at bay for at least long enough for us to build up economically. And do something. Do anything, I don't know. So, Frodo the Spy, go to Cor Willishar. That's where we're going to be heading off. Rowley the Diplomat, can you trade map information with the Dunedain?
I shall
And then we're going to try and start getting trade. Remember that as Bree, you have access to the wealthiest area of the known world, the Shire. Outside of Mithril, there is no greater resource in the game than Longbottom Leaf. And what the hobbits put out is everybody is buying. So you want to get your trade up with as many people as you possibly can, because you can sell them everything.
My lord.
And they lap it
Good
up.
to see you, my friend. How can we help?
Give me more of that leaf.
I must say, we are not
500 gold
convinced.
coins for 2 turns just for your map information.
Very well.
You
Till we meet
drive
again.
a
Yes, my
ridiculous
lord.
bargain there, friends. Who else have we not? Oh, we haven't spoken to the dwarves, so let's go and get trade rights with them first.
As you wish. Stopping here. Your orders, my
Oh, the
lord.
This tower will
rebels are
keep
trying to
vigil
track
over
us
the
down.
lands,
Get back to
my lord.
Hobbiton.
Yes.
Build that
Erecting a
there.
watchtower.
Build that there. Get back
Erecting
into
a
Mitchell
watchtower.
Delving. Alf can pick up the
Orders.
slack over here now.
Yes. Erecting a watchtower.
Erecting a watchtower.
Erecting a watchtower.
There we are. The borders
We
are
have
starting to
marched
show
our
up. We do need to kill Captain Gorebag, and hopefully this time not lose Brathor the Ranger in doing it. So let's make sure that we don't lose Brathor the Ranger by building a bigger
Yes, my
army
lord.
and attacking with
Assembling a
them. So
mighty
let's save
host.
over the battle.
We shall engage.
Let's do it.
We
We don't
attack.
want the devastation that having rebels causes, so we need to kill them off quickly, because rebels don't spawn. That's something that you may or may not know, but unlike in later games, like Warhammer, for example, where they spawn rebels all the bloody time, In Divide and Conquer, the rebels are preset at the start of the game, and the only way to get more rebels is to lose your own towns. If you lose your towns to rebel uprisings, then the units that then take that town can leave the town and wander around. They don't do it very often, but they can do it. So, yeah, you have to watch for that. Right, I think they are just going to sit there and let us shoot them, so we're going to do that. Oh no, they're already moving in. Alright, they know this. They know that we've got the range superiority, so they are moving to counter us. So we need to utilise that. The watch sheriffs will be offered up as bait. Oh, they're routing. Oh, that's good. I'm not losing you again, Brathor. I've lost you once, I'm not losing you again. Brathor's bodyguard unit is ridiculously good. 8 melee attack, 20 defense versus these orc fighters 6 attack and 5 defense. And yet he still died to them last time. And I resent it. I resent it entirely because it is not my fault. After a certain time, you have to just think that the game bloody well has it in for you. And there is nothing I can do when the game wants me to die as much as it apparently does. It was the same with bloody Barleyman. Barleyman died even though we lost 100 men in the battle that Barleyman died. 100 men out of 600 I think we had. And we killed 788. And yet Barleyman was one of the deaths, so we lost Barleyman.
Bloodied. They have lost half their men.
It grinds my gears, you know. Alright, there we are. Get some free shots in on them. Woodland Hunters, as I've shown on the channel many times, are outrageously good this early in the game if you don't put them into melee. Their melee attack is awful. 3. Absolutely god-awful. Their defense is 3 as well, which is terrible. 2 of that is defense skill as well, so they don't like being shot at either. But their missile attack is 5. So if you can keep them out of melee and keep them firing, they are obscenely good. But if you get them into melee, they will die. They will die. They will die very easily and they will die very readily. As you are seeing here. But if we can use them as bait. Oh, there you go. Look, they've stopped and they've changed directions. Shoot back at them.
For the moment, the fortune of battle
I don't really care if we lose all the watch sheriffs. Like, they are here just to die.
We will smash the enemy.
Watch sheriffs are very, very useful, of course. We've played with them before. They're not as memey as you might think, and they actually can kill quite successfully because they have just so many stones to throw. Right, Woodland Hunters, you're probably just going to have to die then.
Good tidings. Behold how
yes,
our
there we
cowardly
go.
foe runs. It's time to press the attack.
Fire at whatever you can. If you still have arrows left, make sure you're shooting. Oh, 93% we're up at. That's all right. All right. So we won it without losing Brathor. We lost a lot more, though. Again. I've actually confused the battles in my mind, sorry. When we lost Brathor in this exact battle, I didn't have the 2 watch sheriffs, and we only lost 100 men, but one of those men was Brathor, and we killed the same amount, 780 odd. But when I've played that battle last time, because I didn't have the 2 watch sheriffs, the orcs waited until I ran out of arrows, judging basically that they could still beat me even when I'd fired all my arrows. So my arrows killed, after I'd launched every arrow from the Woodland Hunters and from my Dunedain bodyguard, there was 63% of the enemy left alive. And we then won in melee by getting them to rout, but Brathor died and it was all a joke. A bloody joke. But for now, Brathor, pop back into the fort so that you give me free upkeep. We'll merge those 2 together and you guys... Well, you might as well just stay with them. We don't need units in these places. You guys can all build me farms. We will try and build economically. Don't worry. I am going to chuck all these people
Yes,
back
my
into
lord.
forts. But you will note that as Bree, you do actually lose money, which is a joke, really, given that we're meant to be this economic powerhouse. That you lose money at the start of the game. The things I've done to make money only made me about 300, but it's a good little start, and it's always good to get a meeting hall up first, because you never know if you are going to need troops in a town. So it's worthwhile making sure that you can put them in there. I'm tempted to actually ignore Mengelen because the Barrow-wights are really difficult to kill.
My lord.
Paladin in there sees him go
Your
free,
orders, my lord.
him into Hobbiton, and then once those guys go in that
Yes, my
fort,
lord.
now we should start making money. Although the diplomat and the spy maybe are costing us.
Orders.
Right, Alf, you come down into the fort as well.
Be gone.
The Corian needs to die though, doesn't he? I'm tempted to ignore Mengelen, as I say, and just jump down here and bring that army down to Cor Willishar and take it. Try and shut down Enid Wythe instead. We're at war with Dunland, but Dunland have to go through the Dunedain. But then we're making the Dunedain go against both of our enemies. No, I think we should probably go for the Tharbad strategy and try and shut them out. That, or we could try and make peace with them, actually.
My lord. Yes.
Why am I
shall
moving you that
continue
way?
tomorrow.
Why am I not just cheat moving you? You're a diplomat. We cheat move our diplomats. Show. That's not how you spell cursor stat. Cursor stat. Move a character. What is your name, sir? Rowley. Everyone remember Rowley because we're going to be moving him a lot. 433.
Yes, my
There we are.
lord.
And we'll talk to the dwarves on the next
Stopping
turn.
here.
But what do we do? What do we do with you? We don't want the heir and the faction leader in the same faction because as Bree, we are Teutonic. We have no family tree, as you can see. So I don't know if it has been fixed, but in the past, Teutonic factions sucked balls, if you'll pardon the parlance, because if the faction leader and the faction heir died in the same battle, you would lose. You would lose the game. The campaign would end. So you had to always be cautious not to do that. I think we probably should take Mengelen, you know, sod it. It's right there. Then we can leave Councilman Andy behind, because Andy just has normal bodyguard. Council's Guard is the Breeland bodyguard. They are effective against armor with a 9 attack and a 21 defense. They're a good early game unit, but they do start to lose out as the game goes on and on. They get a bit worse the longer you play. So this is where Barleyman died last time. This time, though, Brathor is still alive. So if Barleyman were to die in this one, then we'll just accept it. Because this is such a wonderful little battle map, it'd be a shame if we hadn't fought here, because this is one of RK's lasting legacies. The Barrow-downs. The Barrow-downs is a small little village, as you can see. This is a unique battle map for Mengelen. It's got this cool shrine on top of the hill behind the town, which is very nice. Town. The ruins, rather. And of course, you've got all the barrows stretching out around the city, as you can see on the minimap. There is a large hill in the corner. Just because. Why wouldn't there be a large hill in the corner, you Grey? Our enemy is going to have to defend the town, but I expect they will come out to attack us. If anyone needs to die, we'd rather it were Andy, because Andy is not unique. He has 76 men instead of the usual sort of 50, but that's because generals obviously always go up to 77 if the bodyguard size will allow it. But he's got a larger size because he's the heir. He gets a larger security stat, which gives him more units. But the usual Breeland bodyguard, the council's guard size, I think is actually around 50. So Andy stands out a bit because of that. But he isn't actually unique at all. So he can die. He's replaceable. Totally replaceable. They're almost a dime a dozen. Right, if the enemy is going to come towards us, then we'll just prepare for that. We've got the Greenway Guard, or Greenway Riders now as they're known, sorry. It's the Barrow-wights that are going to do the killing here if anything is going to kill us. So it's those that we need to shut down. Let's turn these so that our crossbows can fire unimpeded. The Barrow-wights are moving in. The Barrow-wights are moving in. Shoot the Barrow-wights. Shoot the Barrow-wights, shoot the Barrow-wights. And then what we'll do is we'll spring the trap with Andy. He'll shoot back. Because Andy is a good one to hit the Barrow-wights with because of his armor piercing. So are the gatekeepers, of course. Barleyman has gatekeepers. They are one of Bree's best units. They are armor piercing with both their halberds and their crossbows. They have a 9 melee attack, a 16 defense, and they inspire your forces. And if you have one that isn't a general, they can place stakes as well. But Barleyman, I am not risking you dying like you did last time. So get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. Right, and then you guys come and help these Greenway sentries. Charge into that unit. Andy has hit the Barrow-wights. Barleyman's getting out. You're free to just fire at whatever you like.
The battle is very much in our favour. Victory will be
Come on,
ours.
Barleyman, get out. Our general lies slain upon the battlefield. No, our general is that fellow there. Looking a bit like a merchant militia. Right, they've offered up some units for death, so we'll gladly kill them. Be vigilant, yeoman. Come on. Are they routing? Yes, we got the Orc defenders routing. Come on, Barleyman. Shoot! Barleyman! For goodness sake. Alright, you can fight back. They're down to 14, so the combination of the two of you should be able to kill them off. Yes! The Barrow-wights are dead! Alright, well done. There's one more Barrow-wight out there, so don't rejoice too soon. Barrow-wights are very good, but they're not unkillable. So if we just have a little look at the Barrow-wights. Barrow-wightish. They have a 14 attack, which is ridiculous. They have a 20 defense, and they have 2 hit points. They're also effective against armor, and they frighten nearby enemies. So they're just a really good infantry unit. And their model was recently rechanged back to the old model because the guy that created the better Barrow-wight decided that even though no one's going to play Medieval 2 in a few years, he'd rather that the works that he'd created languish in hell and no one ever see them. Because that's absolutely the best way to get your work out there. And yes, now that I'm leaving, I don't give a flying fornication. If you've put the time in on something that was going to serve the known universe, and you decide to take that thing away from the most popular mod in the Medieval 2 scene at the moment, you are shafting no one but yourself. Your principles are all well and good, friend, but the fact that no one even knows your name, nor what principle you were removing your units for, it's an absolute nonsense. All you are doing is ensuring that the hours of time you spent creating that Barrow-wight unit are now completely wasted, and no one is going to see your unit. And sure, you can add it to AGO if indeed that's what you've done, or you can add it to your own mod if that's what you've done, but these mods now get hardly any attention. Medieval 2's modding scene is slowly ebbing away as we grow further and further and further away from the date these games came out. And so you need to, if you want your work to be seen, you've got to get it into a popular mod sooner rather than later. And Dac is just about the most popular mod that you can get for this whole shindig. So by removing your model for Dac for some perceived slight against your character or whatever your reason was, you're hurting no one but yourself. It's as simple as that. Is my opinion.
Very much in our favor. Victory will be
Other
ours.
opinions, of course, may vary. Where are they going? Why are the Barrow-wights going so wide over there? But it's only because, if memory serves, the person who made the other Barrow-wight unit, which arguably looked much cooler, it looked like a warrior, like a dead warrior. It's on the channel somewhere. The guy that made them disagreed with something that Dac did, or disagreed with something, I don't know what, and so he asked Dac to remove his model. But I can't remember what it was. I can't remember why he didn't want it in the mod. But whether his reasoning was good or bad, it was all he did was shaft himself. We're not dealing with a multi-million-dollar company, and he's saying, no, you can't use my work, and you're going to then suffer because of it. No one's going to not download Dac because it doesn't have your Barrow-wight model in it. Like, let's just de-inflate your head for a brief moment and understand that all you're doing is shafting yourself. But anyway, I won't labour the point anymore. So now we're back with these Barrow-wights, which are perfectly serviceable and no real qualms at all. This one is the general, so hopefully we can kill him. You can see him there, the fellow sort of levitating over the ground. The warrior-looking chap. Again, he looks like a warrior, actually, yeah. He's going for Barliman again. And Barliman, being a bloody crossbow unit, isn't going to run away. Because that's not how they do. And what they will do is, even though they've just spent all that time doing the animation, as you just saw, they don't actually fire their crossbows. So you get the worst of both worlds. It's really annoying. They go through the whole crossbow animation, but because you've told them to move, they don't actually shoot the bolts that they've just loaded. And it's really annoying. It's really, really annoying. If you are going to disobey my orders and still fight, then at least fire. At least loose what you've armed. But they don't. Very annoying. Anyway, our greenways are mostly free. Andy's coming in. The cavalry can charge out over there. And then go back and hopefully finish off those orc hunters.
If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
Alright, so I believe we can ×6 it. Let's get the cavalry to charge into
the
the...
enemy general lies
Yes,
dead.
the enemy general's dead. They're routing. They're routing. Right, the Barrow-wights are all that's left. Oh, there's only a few of them left. And it's done. It's over. Barliman, come and finish off these last few orc hunters. Oh, the cavalry can do that, actually, can't they?
Behold, our enemy are
141, 969, and this time our generals all survived. Glory be to me and the generals. Cheers. Once Humankind on the channel ends, which will be soon. I've pre-recorded so many of the Humankind videos, I can't actually remember where I am. I think you've had 4 videos, but I think I've recorded 7 videos. I can't remember. But that will, I imagine it will be at most maybe 8, 9 or 10 videos, I think, tops. So another 6 weeks of that. And then after that, with the few little slots that will remain, I'll probably just play some Age of Empires videos. It would be fitting to do at least 1 or 2 more Age of Empires videos before the channel goes, because it is it's a part of the channel's history now, isn't it? So, right, Barliman and the few units that you've got, you guys carry on and go down and get into that fort, and you can join the core Willishar terrain. And then Andy, you can just stay here and be the governor. We want to keep one of you back, either the faction leader or the heir. One of them needs to stay back and live, survive, so that we don't die. You can have those watch sheriffs. We're not going to need them in the army.
My lord.
Crazy, though, isn't it? That having... we've got everything that we can that's free upkeep. Oh, no, Mengelen. If Mengelen builds that, then Andy will get free.
Yes, my lord.
Once they get into that fort, that should be enough to make some money for a little bit. We are building the farm there, so we will get that farm there, which is good. We need to get into the forts sharpish, really, so that we can make that money. And similarly with Alf. Alf is costing us 200 gold coins by being out and about.
Yes.
No point heading into that fort, because it won't be free. So you head north, and Barliman, you head south. We will go and try and take Minhiriath, which is the land between the Gwathlo River and the Brandywine River. It is the large area that we currently can't see south of the grey region on the map. South of the southernmost grey region on the map. That is the land of Minhiriath. And that is where we are going to go.
Your orders, my lord.
There we go, yeah. Look, with them in that fort, we suddenly make 600 odd gold coins again. We can get Alf over into that fort. I'm happy to leave Alf, actually, and he can just roam around as a tower builder. But until we make the money, we can't really do anything. Diplomat?
My lord.
What is it you wish to talk about?
Right, let's just start with trade rights.
I accept. Very well.
And then maybe try for an
What's your
alliance?
next suggestion? No. Your good reason has us open to further plans.
And then I can give you my map information.
This won't be
They're not
happening
interested.
now.
But at least we've got trade
Pleasure,
rights. That should start giving us something. We trade with the elves already, don't we? Yeah, so that's the western borders. We're at war with Angmar, so we can't do anything with them. We could trade with Enedwyth, but we're going to go to war with them soon. But we might as well try and trade with them before we do that.
Without question.
As I'm just going to be sitting around for a few turns, I will cut this part out because we're just waiting till we make money. So I'll see you in a moment. Welcome then.
Yes,
Our
my
army marches.
With honor,
Barliman and
we can go
Brothor
no
with a few
further,
ragtag units is about to hit Cor Willishar. And we've built a number of things. So I'm now going on for the Mason's Halls because we've now built enough eco that we make a solid base and we can now support the army outside of the fort. As you can see, we make about 400 gold coins with them out of the fort. And Mengelen, Andy's about to be free, which would be a big boost as well. And then we're going to go for a Mason's Hall there. Hobbiton, we're getting the farm, and then we'll get a Mason's Hall. And Mitchell Delving, we're getting the farm, and then we'll get a Mason's Hall. I appreciate those Mason's Halls, probably not all that worthwhile, but I just need to build them. And so I'm going to. We've also got trade rights with the dwarves.
Yes,
We've got
my
trade rights with Enedwyth. We've got trade rights with the Gobbos. And we have sold our map information to all of those people as well. For a reasonable amount of money. I think about 1,500 between the three of them. I sold it for about 500 gold coins to each of them. So, which is a very common early game strategy as well. Always go around the world and sell your map
What else would
information.
you like to discuss?
Most people will give you... I think the general consensus is 200 gold coins per region they'll accept. So we've currently got 5 regions, so I might actually be able to ask for 1,000, but I didn't want to chance it, so I've gone for a little lower than that.
Orders.
Whilst we do make the money as well, let's pop Alf out.
Continuing tomorrow.
Because Andy's about to be free, so we'll swap those two around so that Alf can come and build us some towers. Looks like the Dunedain are going to mop up our rebels for us, which is always very nice. And we're going to go in on Enedwyth. We don't want Enedwyth to become the military powerhouse that we've seen in days gone by. This campaign, ideally, we want to fight against Dunland, so that, again, we can vicariously show Dunland's units. We also want to fight against Angmar, because they will be our chief enemy.
My lord.
The banner of Bree will fly high
By
above
your command. Erecting a watchtower.
Khan Dum.
As you wish.
I was going to say Kairandros, but I don't think we're going to go that far. Right, Hobbiton and Mitchell Devon got their land clearance, neither of which can afford Mason's Halls, though. Longbottom built its Mason's Hall. And so when you're able, if you chuck in a leather tanner, that's, again, it's all money. It's all money. I'm pretty sure these can now upgrade. I do think that this is wrong, where it says the Shire is a simple place and large constructs are of no interest to the hobbits. As such, Mitchell Delvin would have been anything more than a simple wooden walled town, whilst Longbottom and Hobbiton will remain villages indefinitely. I feel confident that that is wrong. I could be wrong, of course. I haven't looked it up, but I'm certain that all restrictions were lifted a long time ago because the people, the people, or rather we the people, as I am not part of the mod team anymore,
We shall prevail.
we the people cried out in unison saying, stop restricting our towns, it's so gamey and it's very annoying. And so we did lift it from almost all of them, but I can't remember if the Shire was kept restricted or not. I just can't remember. But anyway, will Cor Willishar's garrison rise up against us? Let's find out. Where we shall crush them if they do. The Dunedain are not attacking those rebels, which is very annoying because then that Dunedain army is just standing there doing nothing. But hopefully, if we can deal with Enedwyth, deal with Dunland, and the Dunedain have only then got to deal... Oh, a shadow roams the barren hill. A group of fearsome Barrow-wights has risen from their crypts and now roams the hills of Old Cardolan. Whilst they will not pursue anyone with great fervour, their presence is a worry and they should be put to rest as soon as possible. The men grow fearful and rumours abound of the evil nature of those undead spirits.
Yes. We're well
That does
positioned
beg
to
the
launch
question,
an
have I
ambush
lowered
now.
the tax rate in Mengelen
Erecting a
so as to
watchtower.
get the script over quickly? Yes, we have. Bree is building. Ah, the Master Mason's Hall went through. Good, 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 good. That's why we lost all of our money. And Mitchell Delving is building its Mason's Hall, which, as I say, is a bit useless. But oh, Cor Willishar can only hold for 2 turns. Well, we'll siege them out then. They will almost certainly rise up on the last turn, but we're not going to lose troops for the sake of it, because ideally we want Caddis Nernaled as well. We shall bring that into the fold. Into the fold. Yeah, I think they're going to rise up on this turn. Faction announcements. Ed has come of age. Welcome, Ed. Ed, what are we going to do with you? We're going to send you to the front line, where you are then, sir, going to take up governance of Cor Willishar. Or, in fact, you're apparently a better governor than Terry. So, Terry, you're going to go to the front line, rather.
My lord.
Build a
Erecting
tower on your way
watchtower.
through. And you're going to become the
Yes.
governor of Cor Willishar. And Ed, you're going to become the governor of Bree, our capital city, where Alf will
Orders.
soon have towers abounding.
wish.
Ah, crap, we're out of money.
By your command.
One up there should cover most of that northern side. And as expected, the Dwarven Travellers are not free. So Bilbo really should go to Bree and become the governor of Bree. Because Ed will be free upkeep in Hobbiton and Bilbo will be
Yes, my
free
lord.
upkeep in Bree. Yes. It is decided then.
Orders.
You two swap
Continuing
around.
tomorrow.
Your orders, my lord.
This tower will keep vigil over the lands.
Good. Right, and then I think the rebels will rise up now. Dunedain, can you please kill those rebels for me? I don't want to have to send troops all the way up there. Please. Please, you're meant to be protectors of me. Start protecting. Yes, they did rise up. Oh, good. I was hoping we'd get a battle. I was hoping we'd get the ability to smash them. You will note that the new UI for the Woodland Hunters has not been put into the mercenary folder because the bandit Woodland Hunters have the old icon. So there's your difference. I mean, visually, when I look at those two icons, it has to be said that that one looks blurrier to me. But whether or not that makes it worse is a question for each and every person to decide. I'm undecided whether or not I think that one is worse than that one. But I just prefer the crisper look of that one. There's something about this that just makes it look a bit too pixelated. I'm not sure. I just prefer that one. I don't think they needed changing. It seems again when you have a team that doesn't work very frequently and just works at their sort of slow their own pace, which is fine. I think it's important to make sure that they're working on things that are progressing the mod, filling gaps, covering off things that haven't been done that should have been done, so that you can get to the next version quicker. Does that make sense? So if you've got a guy who can do these UI, for example, and some new units have been added to the mod, but then I suppose if all he does is those UI, well then no, I know that he doesn't. I know that the person that does these UI icons also is the person that creates units. So when you've got a load of new units that you want to be created and you want added to the mod, you don't want the person who can create those new units, those fantastic new units, it has to be said. You don't want them wasting their time redoing the UI of units that already have UI. And again, it's not my team anymore, but and they can do what they want. But given that version 5 is almost certainly going to be the last version of Dac, and I know that Lynx holds out hope that that's not going to be the case, but I just can't see Dac going on beyond version 5. There is just not enough willpower now. Finn has already gone off and basically just works on AGO. He doesn't like the fact that the Dac team is a team, and he wants to be able to do whatever he wants to be able to do, which is fair enough. Creative freedom for himself, that's understandable. It's always a risk when you come from a single project and you join a team project. There's always that risk, and I don't begrudge him that. So I think Dac proper will probably end with version 5. I mean, it's for all the goodwill in the world, Lynx wants to continue up to version 5, of course, but it's taken 2 years to get to this point, and we haven't got version 5 yet. It's been 2 years since the last Dac release, and the work really does slow to a crawl, and Lynx there will be other things that crop up in his life. That's the way of life. That's how this whole thing works. He won't be able to devote all his time to divide and conquer. That's just common. That's just normal. And he shouldn't have to.
Our men have slain the enemy general. Without him, his troops will lose their will
So,
to fight.
I think something will come along in Lynx's life that will take away his time, and as he's the last person who's actually really working on the mod routinely. There is also Karen Coma, who's the person I'm speaking of with the changes to those icons, who makes fantastic units. But Karen Coma, to my knowledge, works for about 4 different mods.
Only half the enemy force
So,
remains.
and even then again, he's got real life in the way as well. And even then, those are just units. Can Karen Coma do everything if Lynx was not there, for example? I don't know. I mean, I assume he can. But whether he wants to is a very different question.
Behold how
So
our cowardly
you're
the enemy
you're just
are
left with this
utterly-
big question. At the moment, Lynx does most of the work. Karen Coma creates some fantastic unit visuals. but he works for a number of mods, so the pace on that is very slow. The pace on units is always slow anyway, because it's an artistic project. It's not just, oh, I'll spend an hour, that'll do. You always want to make it look as good as you can. So unit creation is always very slow because they naturally want to make the best thing they can make. I completely get that. Perfectionism is rife in modding, and rightly so. You're putting your name to it. You want it to look good.
This tower will keep vigil over the lands.
So Coma is creating units, and obviously it's slow going in that regard for understandable reasons, as just mentioned.
Your orders, my lord.
So there's the two of them primarily, and then there was another fellow, Illyrian or something like that, who recently joined and also creates units as well. So the unit department now is fine and has got plenty of people working away, beavering away, doing what they can. Oh, let's get a mason tool up first, because there's a lot of buildings here, so that actually will save some money. But Corwillshire is a good one to take, and then now we're going to try and get Caras and Ernaled as well. Oh, we should try and get Barrow-downs as well if we can. We could probably do with throwing a few more units down here then. Can you give me your band of brass archers? You don't need garrisons up here, so if you two give me those two, that should be enough. And then we'll form an army. So yeah, you've got two main unit creators or unit modelers who are working away creating the units, which is fantastic, and they look good, and it's all going very well. And then you've got Lynx doing basically everything else. Finn works on AGO more than Dac. I haven't seen Finn's name on the to-do list for a long time, on the work to be done, sorry. And if he does, it's always just the odd bug fix or adding in bug fixes. I haven't seen him do anything major. So you've got primarily three main modders, and correct me if I'm wrong on that, if Lynx or anyone's in the comments knows if there actually are more people. Obviously there's White in the Black Cloud, but White in the Black Cloud talks a massive game but basically does nothing. I think I've seen 2 units previewed by him. I haven't actually seen them in the game yet, and he's been in the mod for well over a year as well. But you're not allowed to tell him that he's not doing any work, because he gets a right little bee in his bonnet about it. But he doesn't. He loves the status of being a modder, but as I can see, doesn't actually do anything. But so there's the 3 main of them, and if something now gets in the way, it's taken 2 years to get to the point that version 5 could now be released. And if something comes up, if their lives move forward, that's another 2 more years of life to go between now and then the point that the next version might release, version 6. Let's say version 5 does release this year, and it is going to be 2 more years for version 6. That's 2 more years where anything could crop up and any one of them could be taken away from the mod again. Add into that more and more and more actual mainstream Total War games are being released, and there undoubtedly will be a wave of Lord of the Rings themed games that will come out in the autumn time, after the Amazon series drops, because they'll all want to cash in, particularly Amazon, who now have their own game studio. That's even more people that might play Dac pulled away, because people are only playing Dac if they like Lord of the Rings. If you are a medieval enthusiast, or you just really like Medieval 2, you're not going to be playing Dac. You're going to be playing Medieval 2, and Medieval 2 I doubt has that many players at all. So you've got a dwindling player base already, which dwindles ever more year on year, particularly now that new games are going to come out to cash in on Lord of the Rings. And you've got potentially things in your own life dragging you away, pulling you away. I just cannot see, and I know it's negative, I know it's cynical, I know it's bad, but I just can't see there being a version 6 in my mind. And I would love to be wrong. I won't be paying attention anymore by that point, but I would love to be wrong. But I just don't think I will be.
My lord.
And just to touch on that point, if you're wondering what I mean by that, when I am no longer doing Divide and Conquer for YouTube, I have no plans to play this game again. I might dip into it, I don't know, nostalgia might hit me, and I might think, oh, actually, let's go and give Dac a go. We haven't played it in ages. But in truth and in reality, I think that when I stop YouTube, I will probably never play Dac again. I play other games in my spare time anyway. I play obviously Apex, I play Guild Wars. I'm gonna play Immortal Empires Warhammer 3 because I'm one of the I enjoy it, and apparently the done thing in the public sphere is you're not allowed to enjoy Warhammer 3, and heaven forbid that you do, but I do. Apologies. I don't particularly enjoy the current Souls race game, but I will thoroughly enjoy Immortal Empires, and I've got a computer good enough to I'm not concerned about turn times or anything. So I'm looking forward to Warhammer 3 a great deal.
Your orders, my lord. Yes, my lord.
Right, we've got Bungo has taken up residence in Cor Willishar. So Terry, you join the main army and we'll take you to Buzz-Radum. If we can get Buzz-Radum, we are going to be rolling in money. And I'd love Dol Vorn before the end of White-Do, because that's historically their own region. So it's nice to just claim that one from them. The chicken farming is going to be useless if this place doesn't actually get upgraded. So let's build things that are more worthy first. So let's just make sure that everything that makes money has been built in those other regions first. Yeah, we don't make very much money at the moment. But you're going to build there. Cor Willishar, what are you going for? You're going for a Mason's Hall. So we'll just hold off and get that up. But if we can get Buzz-Radum, we will start making a lot of money. That will rise up. But anyway, for now, that's going to be the end of episode number 1. I do hope you've enjoyed. I hope you will stay around for the end as Bree plays through. This time I've kept Brathor and Barliman alive, which is better. And stay tuned tomorrow for Dol Amroth, and then on Thursday for the next Humankind video. But until we speak again, dear friends, thank you for staying around for the last hurrah on the channel, and I hope you will stay right through to the end. But until we speak again, Navair Naden Pedamad Melonin, and farewell.